I'm now live. I think I've made a schedule for this live, right? For today at 1:30. Okay. The topic we're talking about today is basically about relationships, but we're going to speak more about the men and women understanding men. Most relationships are just a problem because there's no understanding. The partners not understanding each other, right? So we'll be making a series of like different types of videos, right? This one is specifically going to be how women should learn to understand their partners, okay, or their lovers or their spouses, their significant other, okay. So men are basically much more simpler than women because men basically are less complicated. They're not really ruled by their emotions, okay. This is so because women are engineered differently than men. Yes, women and men are definitely different, right? Our biological setup is also very different. That's why we're different. We think differently because of our hormones, okay? A man is controlled by testosterone, okay? Testosterone is the man hormone, the one that makes you pitch up and get things done, okay? Then women are controlled by two major hormones, right? Progesterone and estrogen. And then also have a little bit of testosterone as well in our systems because testosterone is that hormone that helps us get things done, okay? It's that one for movement to get things done, and it also helps in your controls your right brain, okay? So these hormones are all important, right? They're very important to balance you out as a person, as a woman. So firstly, men are different. So they think different because they're wired differently. But it doesn't mean they're more superior, okay? Same as women. Women are wired differently, so it doesn't mean they're less superior than men, right? So my video today is not about showing which gender is superior because that's not true. Both genders have a role to play, and it's always about balance, okay? You got to balance the two out, right? So let's start with men because today's live is about men, okay? Hopefully other people can listen to this video once I've saved it, right? So men express love differently than women, okay? Women are more emotional, as I said. We're more left-brained, we're more feminine, right? In biology and also in the way we think as well. And then a man that thinks differently, right? They show love through action, not words. For them, it's about the doing. It's about solving the problems. It's about getting things done, right? They don't want to spend time going through their emotions on how they feel. They're not like that. They're not wired that way to talk about their emotions, okay? Not that they cannot learn to do so, but generally a man is taken away from speaking about his emotions, and he rather than process his emotions within himself. So they don't verbalize it, they process it within themselves, right? They show love and appreciation differently than women as well. Okay, they show love and appreciation differently than women, and that's okay as well because we all have a role to play, and we need to balance each other out. So understand that your man is not going to be sitting with you like your best friend and talking about your problems, but he wants, if you tell him a problem, he wants to solve the problem, okay? He's a doer. They need to feel um, respected. And I know this word comes out a lot in relationships. You don't respect me. A man will say, I don't want her anymore because she refuses to respect me. But he's not telling her exactly what he needs or what does he mean by respect. Because when somebody says, respect me, it's an open statement. It doesn't tell you much, right? It's an open statement, and a person can then learn to evaluate it differently, however they believe is to respect you, right? So men don't know how to express that they want this respect. However, that's what they need, right? That makes him feel valued, right? Respect is a core emotional need for men. As I said, men also have emotions, but they express it differently, okay? Emotions and their needs, they need to equate respect to love. For them, respect is love. For women, it's something else. For us, it's the words, it's the shows of affection, it's the maybe even the sexual intimacy that actually makes us feel that we loved. They need respect. Men want to be respected. Criticism is opposite to being respected, right? So they don't take criticism very well. Criticism basically switches off that eagerness that he has to take care of you and to actually show you his love, because of the fact that you're now criticizing him. Men cannot handle criticism, especially when you don't know how to express it constructively, right? The crave for appreciation is very in-depth in men. Appreciation and recognition. They want to be recognized for who they are, okay? Basically, they want to be appreciated, acknowledged, that their efforts are actually being valid and being accepted and seen as valid, right? That'll boost your man's confidence when you give him the appreciation or small words of thank you. I appreciate your efforts. I appreciate you being in my life. I appreciate that you're taking your time to get to know the children, that you're spending time with me to get to understand me and kind of work through our love and rekindling our love, okay? That's what they want. They want that thank you. Simple words, thank you, I appreciate you. Right? That's very important in a man, for a man, basically. It boosts their ego. Ego, there's nothing wrong with ego. Ego is a very healthy thing for human beings, unless it is overinflated, okay? And unless a person's only focusing on their ego and leave the compassion and understanding, okay? So one word is choosing your partner very wisely. Choose somebody who's compatible with you. That's the problem with relationships, is lack of compatibility. People that are not choosing the right partners, okay? So you can understand your partner, but if you're not aligned, you're not compatible, becomes a problem, okay? Then a man process emotions differently, as I said before, right? They don't talk through their emotions. They internalize it and process it within themselves. And that's how they deal with their issues and their problems. They'd rather walk away and distance himself from you and go somewhere else instead of him sitting there and wanting to talk to you. Just give him time to process his feelings about whatever happened. Give him time, okay? And sometimes he needs to separate himself and go somewhere else as well. Go for a walk or go for a drive, for him to internalize what just happened. For us, we instantly want to talk about it. We want to suss it out. We want to cry about it. We want to complain about it. We want to nag about it. Because that's our emotion. That's how we are. Females are actually created, right? Engineered and say that, right? So basically, men are quite simple. Men are simple because they're less emotional, but they're not emotionless. They do have their own emotions. They're human beings after all, right? So understand that your man has his own emotions, but he's not going to express it the way you do. Okay, then number 5 is they won't be able to handle clinginess. They want you to feel that he loves you, and he wants you to make him feel like he's loved, but not in a clingy way. So don't be now watching him his whereabouts and stuff like that. Give the man space to be himself and let him have the friends that he needs to have. Again, trust. Okay, so I can say the men value trust as well, because you need to trust him as much as he needs to trust you. Okay, so men enjoy providing. They are providers naturally, right? They provide to support emotionally, right? If you're the right person who doesn't have a lot of emotional baggage from past relationships, you'll be able to show up more better in the relationship, right? Because of the fact that he's already handled his baggage. But the problem is that most people move from a broken relationship into another relationship without working through their emotions. Men and women do this, okay? So now they carry the baggage to the next relationship. And he's not, remember, men he's not going to tell you that about all the hurts. Women will still sit down and tell you about how she's been hurt in the past and all those things. Men don't want to talk about that. They keep it to themselves because they're really internalizing everything. Okay? And again, men are not perfect, women are not perfect. So we're not perfect beings, but we need to be in relationship because we are created to be in relationships, because we're social beings, okay? Okay, and the sixth one is men are problem solvers, as I mentioned earlier on. They are major problem solvers. If you want something solved in your home, just tell the man what it is and what you need done, and you'll get it done. He's not going to sit there and ponder and cry about it, because that's not what men do, right? They're not engineered in that way. Number seven, they need emotional safety. Just like women need emotional safety, men need it as well. In a relationship, men need emotional safety. As I said, men also have emotions, but they don't process it the same way as people do, right? Like female do. Sorry, I think somebody, let me see here. Okay, I think I've got 3 people listening in, and I hope other people can join us, because I did schedule this live, right? Anyway, I'm Sissy, life coach and motivational speaker, right? I share a lot about spirituality and self-development on my TikTok and also on my YouTube as well, but my channel is still very small, right? So if you just join and you're not sure about who I am, go into my link into my YouTube and just like and follow, right? Because the more people join in and like and follow, the more this channel can actually grow, right? I don't do lives on YouTube much. I normally do it on TikTok, right? So today is one of the first of many that I'm gonna do, right? So we're speaking about immense emotions and how we as women can get to know our partners. And when you understand how your man operates, what triggers him, and understand how men in general operates, then you're able to sustain a healthier relationships, right? So this live is to help people get their relationships more healthier. Understand your man. A man fears rejection, right? Criticism and rejection, two major issues that women have. When you have a conflict or a problem with your man, then the words that you say to him are negative words. So that's judgment and telling him negative feedback all the time is part of rejecting him. So when you're complaining about him not being there for you, if you're complaining that he's not a good provider, that's part of the rejection. Men fear rejection. Men take rejection very badly. They take it personally. It breaks them down. It breaks their self-esteem, right? So remember, men are created as providers naturally, okay? Naturally, a man is there to provide for you and to solve your problems. He wants to be there. He wants to protect you as well, okay? And they value, they value freedom, sorry, they value freedom. As I said earlier on, they value freedom. So give him the space to be who he needs to be. Like a woman, they need time alone. They need to spend time alone, maybe spend time with their friends, people that they grew up with, because again, like women, men have an inner circle, their family, their brothers, their sisters, their cousins, their friends, people that they have something in common with. And it doesn't mean that he doesn't have something common with you. When a relationship begins, a man and a woman will decide on how the dynamics of the relationship is going to be, right? So that was number 9. Number 10, they're not mind readers. This is very important. When a man is having a problem, or you having a problem with a man, okay, right? You having a problem at home, whatever the story may be, maybe at work, you got upset and you're stressed out and you're upset about something at work, or maybe you're upset with anything, right? He's not going to automatically understand what's your problem and beginning to give you that space that you need, okay? He's going to be quite surprised, because men find it hard to relate to women because we're so emotional, okay? So we come there and you start talking and arguing about things, because remember that anything now that triggers the remembrance of the arguments that they offer, so whoever it is, will come out, and then you start arguing with your partner for no reason because you don't understand that, okay? You can talk to your partner, right? But you speak to him in the sense that you're looking for a solution, because men want to implement solutions. They don't just want to talk about something and ponder about it and complain about it. They want to get solutions. So when you come with a problem to solve in your home, right, with your man, you need your man to help you get through something. You're talking to him and you must understand that in his mind he's thinking of, now, okay, how can I solve this problem? Because I want my partner to be happy. I love my woman, you understand? Then they can also grow emotionally, as I said, because they are human. A man is a human being like a female is, right? There's not much difference except for the fact that we manage and control but different hormones, basically. Men are less complicated, as I said. Men are only have testosterone, right? And maybe small bits of estrogen, but they don't really manage his character the way estrogen and progesterone manage women's characteristics, okay? How you think and how your emotions are expressed, okay? So that was number 11. Then number 12, it says that men will show up fully for the right woman, okay? This is very interesting. A man will show up fully for the right woman. How do you know that you're the right woman? Okay, if I'm talking to a woman now, how do you know that you're the right woman for your man? Number one, he will have expressed it to you personally. He will even express it to his family by introducing you as his future wife, as his current girlfriend, as his current woman or wife to be, whatever it is. But he would state that statement to you or to the people around him, close to him, right? He will not hide you. He will not like keep you away from his family and friends because he wants to show you off because now he has chosen you, right? And another thing is that when a man meets a woman within the first date, by the end of the first date, he already knows exactly where she's going to be in his life, what type of role she'll be playing in his life. Is she his future wife, or is she just somebody she's going to date and have fun with, or is it just somebody that's going to have intimacy relationships with, okay, without any commitments. So a man knows exactly if he's gonna commit to you or not. Women, we more slow in that sense to understand what do we really want, because most of the time we're moving into relationships with baggage, emotional baggage, right? We're moving into our relationships with emotional baggage and expectations that don't really make sense. Okay, you cannot expect your current man to solve all the problems that you actually had in your life. You cannot do that. I mean, at the end of the day, you need to solve your own problems and pitch up in the relationship, your new relationship, ready to start afresh, not still having a baggage from the last relationship. Right, so guys, if you like my live, just make comments and ask questions. I'll probably have to then just answer those questions after, okay, because I'm not able to see your questions, so but you can ask them, then I'll respond afterwards, okay? Welcome to my live, Claudine, Shanice, and is it Charlton? Hi, everybody. Okay, I'm talking up a storm here, right? And I never look at this, see that there's people there as well. Thank you for your welcome and welcome to my live. I'm Sissin, life coach and motivational speaker. If you want to know more about me, you can also check and follow me on subscribe to my channel so you can see more of my content, because I then also post on TikTok and I also post on YouTube and I also post on Instagram, right? So my channel is about spirituality and self-development, and also the fact that we are human beings and we're here to experience, and relationships are all about the growth. Without a relationship, you cannot learn much about yourself. Without a relationship, you cannot experience how would I say, learning that you need to learn about yourself and about the world and about people in general. So relationships can be platonic, they can be romantic, they can be just family members or even like parents, but we are relationship beings from birth. We have relationships with our siblings, with our parents, right? With our inner circle and outer circle. And then we go to school, we have relationship with our schoolmates, with our teachers as well. And as we get older in age and we mature, we start having romantic relationships, okay? So now we pushed into this romantic relationships without understanding uh, the other sex, especially if you are basically heterosexual, okay? Even if you gay or homosexual, you need to understand that the person that you are with, you need to understand the dynamics of that human interaction between you and your partner, okay? That's how it is, or your girlfriend, your boyfriend. However, there's no manual. Like how there's no manual for parenting, there's no manual for relationships. So we have an opportunity to learn more about relationships, right? So today we're talking about the expectations of women on men, and exactly we're not understanding that men are different to us in many ways. Not that they are more superior, but they're more different to us because they're governed by different hormones, right? As I said. Okay, so number 13, because I spoke about 12 topics or concepts about men, right? The number 13 is their actions reveal their true intention. This is something that I've come across in my coaching. Okay, but I didn't understand. He kept on phoning me and we dating, right? But I saw the red flags here and there. Each time I called him, he wasn't picking up his call. At certain times he doesn't pick up his call. All those things are all red flags, right? Then when I'm with him, if the phone rings and he doesn't answer his phone, he refuses to answer his phone, or he doesn't want us to meet in public spaces, he wants us to meet maybe in a certain place that's private, or red flag. Those are all red flags because you're not understanding your role already. You're not understanding who you are to the guy. You're not understanding that you're not the person that he is going to freely introduce to his family. And there's nothing wrong with you, okay? And there's nothing wrong with him either, but he's really made his decision. So you have the choice to continue in that relationship where you can see all these red flags, or you can leave or question it before you leave, and kind of, you know what I mean, the pink elephant in a room, address it and ask those questions. Those are the things that we need to do. Okay, guys, if you like this live, please tick the like button, okay, so more people can also come in as well and pay attention to this live, right? Okay, so as I said, so people are different, right? And men are different. So when you walk out of a relationship whereby it was a toxic relationship with somebody who did not understand you, and you go into another relationship, okay? There's one thing that you need to understand. If you don't take accountability of your broken relationships and your conflicts in relationships, it doesn't matter if you were abused. Even if you were abused, you were in that relationship, you chose that person, right? Meaning that you attracted that person into your life and you said yes without knowing, right? So the reason why we do that is that at the end of the day, who knows basically if a person's going to be abusive or not, right? But remember, the whole idea, what I've picked up is that when people are in relationships that are abusive, they normally have self-esteem issues, right? So that's the one thing I learned in my past relationships that were toxic, abusive person who was vulgar and not respectful and very like narcissistic and stuff like that. That came from my own sense of self. It came from who I am, who I was at that time. You must remember that people change all the time, okay? So I was very young when I got in those type of relationships with somebody who was not aligned to me. We were not matched, okay? But I was taken with the fact that this guy was good looking, and I was feeling that, well, I'm privileged to be in a relationship with that person. And that's a wrong point of view. When you are a woman, right, a man should be privileged to have you in the relationship, okay? And the other way around as well. When a man is with a woman, the man should feel that he's going to give something to in this relationship. He's adding to that person's life, okay? Relationships are supposed to be about balance. You give and she gives, and you'll create this relationship, right, by understanding each other. It's not only a woman taking or a man just taking. It's about both people coming together. It's just like a partnership, a collaboration. You understand? And I know that people say that, well, people have different points of view, right? But with my own experience, I'm now 13 years married, right? And I've had many relationships before. Not understanding how men operate is what really tripped me, because when a guy all of a sudden doesn't want to talk to you, he's not answering your phone anymore, that's a red flag. You should understand that this person is withdrawn from you. He doesn't want this relationship anymore, because men are not verbal people most of the time, okay? That's why when you're in the relationship and everything is looking good in the relationship, also ask questions to understand and get that feedback that you need from him, to understand that he is also getting what he needs from this relationship, okay? and then you also expressing your views about the relationship is also important. Men are very simple, less complicated than women, because at certain times of the month we have those cycles. Sometimes we're gonna have our menstruals. Now we change our moods, we get moody, and men are different. Men are basically observers. They'll watch you, keep quiet, and he doesn't want to hurt you. In most cases, he's afraid to say something to actually hurt you, because maybe he doesn't want the relationship to end, because maybe he's still getting something from the relationship. Okay, so you as a woman, you have more intuition. Do not be carried away by your emotions. Try and get your head and your heart to agree on this relationship that you are in. Okay, so understand your man. First, I said men are not much talkers. They internalize their emotions. And men like really honors and needs a lot of respect. Okay, that's one thing that should be discussed at the beginning of your relationship. Okay, don't wait for when things are now out of hand and you now attached to this person. Understand, how does he feel about this respecting, because men love this respect, because respect is equated to that you love and value him. Okay, so but now respect can show up in any way. Okay, what does respect look like? Basically, what does he mean by that? These are the conversations you should be having very early on in your relationship, before you'll even do the intimacy thing, right? Because you need to first understand if you're on the same page. Okay, so the actions reveal everything. A man will let you know by his actions, not words, while a woman will be more expressive and always talking, right? But a man will watch his actions, right? Not so much his words. Okay, because in the now and again you can even see this, if there is some contradiction between his words and his action. Okay, the number 14, men need to feel like they are winning in the relationship, winning with you, winning by making you happy, that you are happy and pleased in the relationship, that you're comfortable in that relationship, right? So men, they like that, to feel like they're winning in the relationship. When a man feels like he's not adding value to the relationship, he's going to withdraw. He's not winning this relationship. He's going to say, like, time is moving. And like women and men, uh men also are looking at the time factor, because they also have goals. I want to be married at a certain age, I want to have children at a certain age, so they're always looking for things like that. Okay, so when he sees he's not winning this relationship, he'll leave you and go to the next, basically even your own sister. But anyway, that's how it is, right? Fair game. That's the thing about relationships. It's fair game for everybody else. Okay, right? Well, a man, not all men will do that, but some men will do that, you understand? But anyway, if you're constantly feeling that he's not adding value and he's failing in the relationship, as I said, you withdraw, right? You will slowly withdraw, and you'll understand, you'll be getting less phone calls. You doesn't want to talk to you, and when he does spend time with you, you won't be spending the time that he used to spend before, right? So, as I said, they will withdraw. Then you'll understand, like, why, what's going on, and you afraid to ask, because you are afraid that it's the end. And at the end of the day, we know that the relationship has ended, and we can see the red flags, but we're afraid to ask, right? Because we're afraid to be disappointed, right? So I prefer to know exactly where I am, right? So I can put in my efforts, knowing that my efforts are also being returned, that I'm not wasting my time, right? Okay, then why do modern relationships fail? They fail because of the misunderstanding, less communication, lack of communication, unrealistic expectations from both men and female, right? Instant gratification. We're living in a technological time now, right? With technology, we have social media, we got dating apps, right? So a man feels that he wants things fast, he wants it now, right? So at the end of the day, they're always running for the intimacy, male and female both together. I'm not sure why, because intimacy is what women equate love with, together with the gifts and the words of affirmation and all the other things, right? There's many love languages, okay? That kind of thing. So when a person's in a relationship and they feel that their love language is not getting reciprocated and not getting what they want, they move. They don't work on relationships anymore because the world has become a small place now. Now we have the instant communication. We can talk to any person at any time. The dating apps and the social media. Okay, we now can connect to other people very fast, unlike before. So now that instant gratification is there. All right. And then the other thing is emotional unavailability. Right, this is the problem. When people get hurt, many people enter relationships with they really been hurt already, okay? And they have emotional baggage, and then they come into relationship because it's just they want to be in a relationship. Okay, some people just want to be in a relationship, some women and men that don't want to be alone. Somehow because it feeds into their need and validation that yes, I'm in a relationship. They don't want to spend time to get to know themselves and understand who they are. Okay, that's the thing with the emotional unavailability. You're in the relationship but you're not emotionally there. You're not giving all yourself totally in the relationship. You're just getting what you want, that feeling that okay, I'm with somebody, and maybe that feeling, and maybe I'm getting intimacy. I'm trying to say, that kind of thing, right? And then as they struggle to open and commit to other people, right? When we've been in a hurt relationship many times, and you keep on attracting the same type of relationships, right? You struggle to open yourself, you open emotionally and talk and really commit in the relationship because of the fact that you're fearful of committing too much, and then because you're gonna get hurt, you're fearful that somehow this person's gonna disappoint you because subconsciously you still haven't worked through your pains, your baggage, you haven't emptied it out, we haven't faced the issues that actually were there and actually were brought up in your previous relationship. Okay, and you don't want to be single. Like being single is a swear word these days. People don't want to be single anymore. I'm not sure why, because they're feeling lonely, feeling that time is going, that the clock is going, and especially women. And when they hit 30, the younger generation, they hit 30, they feel the time is going and I need to be in a relationship. So they stay in those toxic relationships, even if they understand that that person's not aligned to them. They're not compatible, okay? Another thing is toxic independence. When you clingy and you lack your own independency and you need somebody to provide financially for you, to provide emotional for you, somebody to be there all the time because you're feeling, as I said, that you'd rather be in a toxic relationship than be alone and be single, okay? Because you think the time is running away and you don't have enough time, and it's just for some people say it sucks to be single. I'm not sure why. Because that's a time where you can get to know yourself and work on yourself and get your own house in order so that when you in a relationship the next time, you're gonna be there fully as a fully matured person that knows what they want, and exactly you've really developed yourself financially. Maybe you went back to school, got a good job, you're working on your health, you're working on other things as well, right? And by the time you're now ready to go into relationship, now you are now at your best and you can actually add value to your partner's life, because a relationship is about you adding value, right? Especially a romantic relationship, you're adding value to that person's life. So you go there empty because like you don't want to be lonely. And loneliness has nothing to do with you being in a couple. Because if you are a couple and you're part of a couple, sorry, if you're part of a couple, you can still be lonely, right? Because there's something within you that you need to work through. Because loneliness is not about you being by yourself. It's about how you feel about yourself and how you relate to the rest of the world, okay? Then the other thing that I like to mention is social media. Social media is another reason why modern relationships are not working very well. Social media exposure, I mean, comparing social media relationship couples to your own relationship with your partner at home, and comparing and saying that I idolize this couple and I want my relationship to look like that. I want to show up in my relationship the way they show up for each other. But you don't understand that social media is about pretense. It's about showing up a part that you want the world to see. There's no social media couple that shows themselves arguing and disagreeing and all the other issues. They hide it and only expose the nice part that we also loving and all those things. So you are getting a wrong picture of it, right? Just take it with a pinch of salt, Basically, what are they trying to teach us? That couples should behave like this. It doesn't mean that they really are like that 24/7. It doesn't mean they're loving and kind. It doesn't mean that he respects and he doesn't cheat. They're just doing that for that video. They actually trying to show the world how couples should be, how they really desire to be, but it doesn't mean they are like that in reality on a day-to-day basis. Okay, when the camera is off, how do they behave? People don't think about that. They just want to idolize this vision of this social media couple, and it actually messes them up and messes up their expectations in their own personal relationships as well. So you need to understand that each relationship is unique. Each person will have their own relationship. Each person will show up differently in their relationship. To a couple, not all the couples have the same dynamics. That's what I'm trying to say. You will not have the same dynamics as another couple. Yes, there is a general social universal concepts, but at the end of the day, each personality is different. Okay, so that person that you see on social media's personality is different to yours, and her partner is different to your partner's. So the relationships cannot be mirrored, right? There's a give and take that you need to understand, right? What does your partner need in the relationship? What do you need in the relationship? That's the most important thing. What do you need in the relationship? Okay. So lack of conflict resolution is a problem. People don't like to solve their problems. They like to just take it and push it under the carpet and ignore it and let it, you know what I mean? Like it's not there. And next time an argument comes up, you're wondering why you're always arguing all the time, because you keep on pushing it under the rug and not solving and facing the issue, right? Find a solution that's going to be happy for both him and her, right? For both of y'all. Find a solution that you're both going to be happy with, okay? That's just the problem is this resolution, conflict resolution is very poor in human relationships, because we've excelled in all areas, in technology and everything, in industry and all those things. But when it comes to our human relationships, we fall flat, we fail there, right? The reason why, as I mentioned, all these other toxic things that come about in relationships. And then cheating and infidelity, that's also a big reason. I think it's number 7. Cheating and infidelity is a big reason why modern relationships don't work out. Because remember, social media allows instant gratification and instant connection with somebody outside of your immediate circle. And that person looks nice on social media because they're posting all different pictures of themselves. You're thinking that person is more better than your partner next to you. That's the problem, okay? That's the problem. Then you start now being coerced, or how would I say, you start having weaknesses and stuff like that. So you easily now um, wanting to hook up with somebody else you don't even know because that person seems so nice. I mean, I've had many people try and approach me, although I'm a married woman. You understand? Approach me because they see like my pictures, and they having this misperception of who I really am. You understand? So you cannot tell who is a person by their social media profile. Get to know the person more indirectly, okay? So now the cheating becomes disappointing to the person because the person feels that they have now met somebody better than their current partner. And yet, when they get to know that person's hidden issues that they don't see on social media, on their posts, then they push away and say, well, I was better off with my ex, right? And mostly men do this. Men normally cheat more than women because they're more empowered to do so. Women are less empowered to cheat because it's not socially acceptable for women to cheat, right? So these are the things, even in today's society, you will still be, if you're a married woman or in a relationship and you happen to cheat, you will be cut down by society because of your behavior. But for men, somehow, because it's a patriotic system we're living in, men are more kind of praised and rewarded, right? And number 9, emotional baggage. Emotional baggage is a major issue why people, modern relationships don't work out. And I've mentioned so many times with the other uh, points, right? Then poor boundaries, having poor boundaries in your relationship, right? And codependency, you depending on that man for everything, right? You understand, okay? My family problems We'll discuss it, but I will then solve them and don't get involved too much in my family problems. You understand? Because you need to show up for your own family problems. Although we are in a relationship, there are those boundaries. My cell phone is my cell phone, okay? I'm not forced to show you every message that I have or every interaction I have on my phone to you. I don't have to do that. Those are the boundaries that need to be created early in the relationship, not after the first child or after the wedding, whatever, before all the major commitments. These are the things. What is our code of conduct in terms of our personal cell phones, right? We need boundaries. We need real boundaries. And yes, you can trust the other person as long as you know that you're attracted or you're with the right person, okay? That kind of thing. If somebody cheated years ago, try and let it go because the past is the past. When you hold on to the past, you're actually not letting it go, right? But I'm not talking about an abusive relationship where a person physically, psychologically abused you. I'm talking about a person maybe you dated for a while and the person who had a wandering eye and they approached somebody else while they're with you. Those are the things that I'm talking about. Those very mild things that we know that are not major red flags, okay? That kind of thing. And then lack of time and effort. If a person's not spending time with you and not bring that effort of sending those messages and communicating with you and making those appointments to meet with you and actually pitching up at those appointments, then that's all a red flag, right? For men and females. Men can also understand that women are not perfect. And when a woman is showing red flags, you need to understand. Thank you for joining, Kim. You're only the fourth person, but anyway, thank you for joining. We're speaking about relationship dynamics between men and women. I spoke a lot about men's personalities and what men really need in a relationship. They need us to pitch up for them. They need us to respect them as well. I will go through those shortly, right? Now I'm talking about why modern relationships don't work out in today's society. Because number one, we talk about the modern things like technology, instant gratification, instant connection with social media, easy to cheat because the availability of different people is there, basically, right? And you also being in relationships that were hurtful, where you were hurt and broken. Now you don't want to fully commit to that relationship, so you're still stuck in the old mindsets of what happened in the past. Okay, those are the things that causes poor modern relationships. Okay, mismatched values and mismatched values. Mismatched values simply means that we don't have the same values about life and morality. We don't have the same values. These are the things that should be discussed early on in your relationship, right? So that you can understand, am I lying to this person, or my values, my personal values must not be compromised. I will not compromise my personal values, okay? There are certain things that we should say that I will accept this, but this is I will not accept. We need to have those boundaries, set those boundaries already, okay, from the beginning of your relationship. So I think the first 3 months of dating somebody is very important, because in those first 3 months you can talk about a lot of things, all these things I'm talking about. You can get to know your partner first, okay? That's why a lot of people have this whole idea of wait before intimacy. Let me first get to know you deeply and understand if you align to me, or we aligned as a couple. These are the things we need to understand, or we aligned as a couple, okay? So these are the things that we need to consider, right? And I also spoke about the illusion of endless possibilities. Because of social media, men and women have this illusion that, oh my God, they like walk in out of relationships just easily because I've got easy access to different people on social media, dating apps. You can pay for this, pay some of them, you pay for them, others they free, right? So because of social media, I've seen that people using Facebook, a dating app, which it's not. It's not a dating app. Facebook is not a dating app. It never has been. But people hook up there or often. And sometimes those relationships work, sometimes they don't, okay? As I said, that instant gratification, easily access, and the illusion of endless possibilities, okay? Illusion of endless possibilities. It's only an illusion because at the end of the day, you are still the same person each time you're in a different relationship. You're not, if you don't change yourself, you're moving yourself as you are into the next relationship. All your weaknesses, all your problems in the next relationship, right? That kind of thing. You're moving yourself to the next relationship. So if you don't fix yourself and work on your own issues, you will attract the same people, the same circumstances, the same type of relationships. That's why, as a life coach, I always tell my clients to work on yourself. If you want your life to be different, you have to become a different person. You must think differently and operate differently. You must love yourself, because most of us have a problem with self-love, right? So we're looking for relationships and looking for love outside of ourselves instead of us focusing on ourselves. This is not even a cliche. Love yourself first, but it's very true. If you don't love yourself first, and you keep on looking for people outside of you to love you and accept you and validate you, you have a problem. You will always be attracting people aligned to your weaknesses, okay? Your weakness of not loving yourself, that's a weakness, basically. You need to pick up your strengths and transmute your weakness to strength by understanding who you are, right? And love yourself. Love yourself. Loving yourself is a deficiency in this world today. It's because of how we are messed up in society, how we are brought up. We never get enough validation from our family members, our mothers, our fathers, our siblings. We never have people pitch up and tell us how much they love us, because intimacy is not something that's well expressed in today's society, even in homes. Then the last one is not knowing how to love properly. Not knowing how to love properly means is that you use love as a reward system. Like, if you do this for me, I love you, I appreciate you, I compliment you. I mean, unconditional love is a real thing, you understand, and it all starts within yourself. When you look at yourself in the mirror and you love yourself, even if you're not that beautiful, and believe me, everybody's beautiful, but because of the social social influences, I can't think of the word now, social influences, we indoctrinated by what is beautiful and what is attractive and what is sexy. Social influences on social media and mass media tells us, the marketers tell us what is beautiful, and yet we should be understanding that we are beautiful, no matter what skin tone you have, whatever hair color you have, or hair strand, or whatever you have. You are beautiful because you're made in the image of God, and that means God has many images. Okay, so everybody's beautiful. Okay, so when you're not loving yourself properly, and you don't understand what is love and self-acceptance, okay, and then you're in the relationship, and then you're choosing partners that are highly attractive, and yet they're not very evolved emotionally, they got low emotional IQ, the emotional IQ was very low. These are the things that cause problems in relationships. When you are in a relationship, specifically for the looks, without going deep inside to understand that person more. Okay, so you're moving into one relationship to another, and you don't even understand this man. You don't understand what is a man wanting in the relationship. Because most of us women these days are born and bred in single parent homes, and would only maybe with your mother. So you don't get to have the man's point of view, the man's validation. You don't get that, right? So that's the reason why there's a lopsidedness. So going through the reasons, I mean, or going through, not reasons, going through what men really expect from women. Okay, number one, understand your man. Your man will express love differently. It's not like a woman. A man will express love differently because they're not engineered like women. Number two, they need to feel respected. Respect is equated to love when it comes to the male gender, right? Respect is equated to love. And then the wave, what? They crave appreciation. They crave appreciation. They want to be appreciated all the time, right? By you acknowledging his efforts, and when he doesn't feel appreciation, he's slowly going to now withdraw from the relationship, right? And then men process emotions differently. They have emotions, but they process differently because they don't have those hormones fluctuating right through the month. They don't have the estrogen fluctuating and the progesterone fluctuating right through the month, right? So they operate differently. They only have testosterone and maybe slight amounts of estrogen later on when they hit their 40s, then men's estrogen shows up a lot. It's depending on his lifestyle, okay? But anyway, they process emotions differently. They internalize their pain and their hurts. They don't want to talk about it, right? They're not people that want to talk about their issues much unless you allow him to and give him that safe space. Men want to feel safe in the relationship, right? And then they will now speak because I'm married to a man, so I know because of the way I've kind of nurtured my relationship with my husband, he feels that he can speak because he knows that I am a safe space, right? I will understand him, I will listen to what he's saying, and I'll also use my empathy and empathize as well, right? They want to feel empathy, and they want you to show empathy as well. She says woman, so men and women are not that much different. They're just kind of engineered differently, but they actually need the same things, right? Then men enjoy being providers. Allow him to be the provider, even if it's a small thing like opening a door of the car door or opening the door at home or even locking the doors at night before you're asleep because he wants to be the protector. That's what he's geared for. He's made to be the protector, okay? That's what he is. And because that's how he was brought up in the patriarch system, okay? In the system we have now, which has been having for 100 years now, men or the protectors are very patriotic. But anyway, the whole idea that we need to actually allow them to show up and protect us in small ways, okay? When you're walking, you're going jogging, you want to jog with you because you want to protect you. When you're going to certain places and not so safe, you want to be there. When you are needing going somewhere by car and he's driving, he wants to drive and he wants you to be the passenger because that's another way of him expressing being the man. Because in some homes, some cultures, being a man driving means that he is a protector, a provider, is a doer. For many years, women were not allowed to drive because it was seen as a male thing, right? And in some families, some cultures, still a very real thing, right? So you'll understand, I'm a man, I should be driving, that kind of thing, right? So allow him that space to show up and spoil you. Let him drive during the week, maybe 3 times a week. Let him drive. You get my point? Because he feels as if now he's needed in the relationship. Men want to feel needed and appreciated in the relationship. They're very simple. Just give him that space and make him feel needed and stop criticizing. Criticism is not a positive way of approaching your relationship, okay? So when you are complaining about something, make it more like an open discussion and don't make it to the point that you are now actually criticizing and you're unhappy. Say, babes, we have this problem. And I think that maybe we can solve the problem in this way. Right? What do you think about that? And remember that you give him that space and he gives you that space as well. Because when you show up with respect as a woman for your man, you will also show up as well, and vice versa. You understand that? I'm not understanding why modern women don't understand men. Men are simple, and I think our ancestors, our grandmothers in the past understood them. Although we see it more in the sense that men have been abusing women. Not every woman was abusing those type of relationships where a man was more the head of the house kind of thing, which is okay. But then again, not every relationship is the same. Some relationships you won't find where a man is a head of the house, right? But there's a balance. He said they work together to make a life. So we both heading this life, this home, okay? But there's still those roles. He does this and I do that. And it doesn't mean because I do certain things that I am a weaker sex. It just means that there has to be a balance and some order in the home as well, right? So I say they need to feel respected, okay? They want to feel needed and not cling to. A man doesn't want a clingy woman that's everywhere he goes. Where are you, babes? What are you doing there, babes? Phoning him and messaging him all the time. Same with women. Women don't want that. Men don't want it as well. So as I said, men are not different to women. Okay? And then number 6, men are problem solvers. Let them solve the problems in the home. You come with suggestions, okay? We need a plumber, baby. Something, the pipe burst. Let him do it because that's his role, okay? And then, well, there are all those men that are more feminine in its sense. But then again, you as a woman, you are responsible of choosing that type of person, okay? So in my clients, many of my clients I've coached have always said they prefer a man that's more masculine, that's going to be the man in the relationship, right? And when they get that, and then if they are also operating from the same level of testosterone and very masculine, there's a clash. She needs to understand if you want a man that's very masculine, you need to also play your role and be more feminine for him so your energies can balance and there won't be much arguments in the home if the energies are balanced in the relationship as well. The energies are balanced. So you show up as a female and let him be the man because you wanted the type of person right now. We're finding a lot of conflicts in relationships these days because developed, educated women, right, feel more empowered. So at home, when you're with your partner, you want to be that empowered person. Yes, you can be empowered, but don't push your weight in the relationship. Allow him to play the role too as well and balance it out. In other words, you need to also balance your own hormones, your female and your male hormones, right? Because everybody has male and female hormones, right? Male and men have some female hormones that show up at certain times, right? Then it also depends on, are you using them? Is he using his femininity a lot, or is he using his masculinity a lot? Because we all have left and right brains, okay? So each brain is responsible for that archetype energy of masculine or femininity, right? That kind of thing. So you need to understand, try and balance it out in your relationship. Allow him to be that man and stop complaining about him being too meek and not masculine because you're not allowing him to show up. You being more masculine in the relationship that he is. You have to find that balance. Again, everybody needs to take responsibility in relationships, right? That's the whole thing, right? So you need to understand that he needs to be emotionally safe with you. Emotional safety is very important for a man. As I said, men have emotions too, and he needs to feel safe to be around you and even to express his feelings around you without you telling him, oh no, that's like a woman, you're acting like a woman. No, allow him to express his feelings, and then when you give him that space, he'll show up for you more, right? That kind of thing. You need to cause the balance, create the balance in your relationship, okay? Men fear rejection. Rejection comes in many ways: criticism, always complaining, always saying his job is not paying enough, there's not enough money in the house, and all those things. Instead of you complaining, say, babes, let's see how we can solve this problem in the home. Okay, we need more money. How can we save more money? What can we do in our home to leave us with more money in our pockets instead of you complaining? Have an open discussion. You know what I'm trying to say? Have an open discussion. This whole idea that men are providers, yes, they are providers, but remember, women also are empowered. That's why we had women's movements, feminism movement. That's why we educate, we have jobs, but we need to have balance in our home, right? So you do and he does, you do and he does, and that kind of thing. Again, depending on what type of dynamics you guys have discussed and agreed on, because every relationship is different, okay? So now we see people on social media going bashing men and women and men doing the same thing, bashing women, because we don't understand. Okay, yeah, I think I moved from my mobile to my Wi-Fi. But now it seems to be so bad. Oh man, showing a green screen. Anyway, guys, I'm about to end anyway, but I was just hoping that it's gonna clear up first so I can end and save the live. Okay, so as I said, relationship.